Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for watching. It's been a while. What I'm going to do today is show you this Squier. This is a Classic Vibe 60s Stratocaster. I've reviewed these before. I did a comparison of a 60s versus the 50s. I just happened to get my hands on this nice candy apple red 60s version, and I figured we may as well do a quick review on this one as well. Now this is made in Indonesia, so it should echo what we saw on the white one last week. But let's run it through the paces, and we'll start with the visual inspection, and then I'll run it into the amp, of course. All right, let's get started. Okay, here we go. So the headstock, just as we'd expect, Classic Vibe. It looks awesome. Squier gets the spaghetti logo treatment on the Classic Vibe, and it has that nice vintage tint. Of course, it's the right shape for a Fender, the smaller headstock size, and it looks awesome. As we check out the back of the headstock, we see they're using Kluson Deluxe style tuners, my favorite, and these ones work really well, and they feel great too. They don't feel cheap at all. Now it does say it's made in Indonesia, so keep that in mind. Here's the maple neck, and it feels awesome. Feels like glass, and it's a nice medium C carve. Now I think the earlier Classic Vibes I've had sort of had that quarter sawn look to them, and this does not. It just looks like a straight up carved maple, but it feels great. And we follow the neck right into the neck pocket, and we see it's a great fit. There's no gapping, but it's not so tight as to crack the finish in there, and it looks just about perfect. Now the frets on these Classic Vibes, no surprise, they are finished fantastic. Feels as good as any Fender I have felt. And there's the Rosewood looking fingerboard, although I'm sure this being the newer one, this is probably not Rosewood. I'll do a little research and label it in the video there. Now there's a look at the little Dot Inlays, and they look great too. There's just nothing to complain about on these guitars. I try to keep the reviews sort of unbiased and balanced, so I point out some tiny little issues. But on a Classic Vibe, it's just so hard to knock them, you know, regardless of the price. I really like them. I guess the knobs, they do look a tiny bit cheaper than American knobs. This is the 5-way switch, and it feels pretty good. I guess that's one area that could be improved, but not worth complaining about. While we're here, there's the bridge, and it's a nice vintage style bridge, 6 screws, and they are stamped Fender saddles, so that's pretty cool. The plastic on this one is sort of parchment, I guess somewhere between white and parchment. It's not stark white, but it doesn't have an aged look in my opinion. These are staggered pole pickups, and I believe these are Fender branded pickups in the Indonesian Classic Vibes. And there's a look at the candy apple finish. It's not overly sparkly, sort of a nice medium sparkle to it. Now it is a single ply back plate. I kind of wish that was a 3-ply to match the front pick guard. And peeking through the holes, it looks like it's sort of a medium-sized trem block. So a full-size trem block would be nice. Although I find these guitars sound great, so I don't know why I would complain about that. And there's the neck plate. It says Squier. And I guess that's about it for a visual inspection. I mean, these guitars, we know they're rock solid and they feel great. If that's your thing. If you don't like a gloss neck, you probably won't like Classic Vibe, but I certainly do. Anyway, that's it. I'm trying to think of things to say against the guitar, but it's just a great Strat in my opinion. So let's run it through the amp, see how it sounds. Cheers.
Thank you.